So moving on to operational amplifiers and linear ICs. This is the model 1 topic. Here we'll be studying in detail the operational amplifier. See here the name indicates, okay, it is operational amplifier. What are the operations it is going to do? Like it will go with the addition, subtraction, integration and differentiation. All that operations will be done, and it is a direct coupled high gain amplifier. Okay, it consists of one or more differential amplifiers, level translators and a output stage. That is the block diagram of this amplifier. Okay, it has differential amplifiers. That is important. What we mean by this differential amplifier means it amplifies the difference between the signal. Okay, it will amplify the difference between the two input signals. So this is important. Differential amplifiers. Next we have level translator and a output stage. It is available as a, this is very important, it is available as a single integrated circuit package. Okay, it comes as a single integrated circuit. It is used to amplify both. One more important thing is it is used to amplify both AC and DC, not only AC, both DC, AC and DC, that is alternating and direct. Both input signals will be amplified by this op amp, and it is performed to it can do addition, subtraction, multiplication and integration also can be done by using this op amp. All this you have in your lab experiments. So it is called as operational. So what is this amplification? Amplification means increasing the amplitude of the signal. If it is at 2 volts, it becomes 4 volts, 6 volts. Okay, in that way we can increase the amplitude of the signal. And what are the applications? It can be used for AC and DC signal amplification. So as the name indicates, amplification is the first important application of amplifier. Then it can be used as filters. Okay, filters means to remove the unwanted signals. It can be any signal that should be removed. So to remove that, any signal which is not required, okay, which creates noise, which is a distortion, that should be removed. So it can be used as filters. And then it can be used as oscillators. Oscillators means going into oscillations. We can make the circuit not only as an amplifier, we can make it as an oscillator also, so that we can get the waveform like sine wave. Oscillations we can get from this op amp circuit. It can be used as comparators also, comparing two signals. It can be done. And it can be used as regulators. Okay, voltage regulators also can be done by using this op amp. Okay, next we have this block diagram representation of an op amp. See here, it is important. It has block diagram is very important. It has 4 stages here. It starts from input stage. Input stage has 2 inputs. That is important. Here we have non-inverting input and inverting input. That is important. Non-inverting and inverting input, that is given for the input stage. Next we have intermediate stage. Next is level shifting stage, and last is the output stage. All this stage, all it is shown in terms of blocks. Yeah, but in reality, all this consists of transistors. Okay, the internal diagram I will show you in the next class, where all the transistors are put together. In input stage, we have dual input. We will be giving 2 inputs here. Okay, inputs for inverting and non-inverting terminal, and balanced output differential amplifier. See, differential means it will take the difference between these two signals. It will take the difference between the inverting and non-inverting input. Whatever signals we are giving here, it can be DC voltages like 2 volts, 3 volts, 4 volts, or it can be AC signals also. Whatever signals will give, the difference between these two signals it will take, and it will be fed to the input stage. Okay, next it will be going for the intermediate stage. Okay, there the output will be unbalanced, and there will be shift in the level, DC level. It will be, there will be a shift, so there will be a level shifting stage. Okay, it is also called emitter follower using constant current source. And at last we have a output stage, that is the complementary symmetry push-pull amplifier. At the end, a push-pull amplifier will be used. At the beginning, a differential amplifier will be used, and in the middle we have a constant current source. So all this put together, a op-amp will be done. Okay, a op-amp will be manufactured. That is an integrated circuit consisting of many transistors. Integrated circuit will be manufactured. And this will be used for different operations. So you have to explain each and every stage of the op-amp correctly. So the input stage is a dual input balanced output, that is been told. The intermediate stage is driven by the output of the first stage. It is dual input unbalanced output. And next we have a level translator. It is used after intermediate stage to shift the DC level to 0 volts with respect to ground, because there will be shift in the DC level. For that it is used. And the final stage is a push-pull complementary amplifier. So this is the explanation of the our block diagram. See, next we have the schematic symbol. Okay, how this op-amp is represented. This is how we represent the op-amp. Okay, a triangle you can see here. The representation of the op-amp. See here, it has two inputs. One is a negative symbol and one has a positive symbol. Minus and plus is shown here. Okay, and the inputs are written as V1 and V2. Inverting input and non-inverting input. See, for plus it is written as non-inverting. For minus it is inverting. And a capital A is written, that is the gain. That is the voltage gain, and the output is V. So this is the schematic symbol of the op-amp. Okay, two inputs and one output. So the difference between these two inputs, whatever the inputs we give here, the difference between these two will be amplified. Okay, that amplified is given by this gain A and we'll get the output. So this is the schematic symbol. So here non-inverting terminal, here an AC signal or DC signal is applied to this input, produces an in-phase signal at the output. That is important. Okay, at the output the signal will be in phase. So input and output can overlap to each other. Okay, that it will be in phase. If it is inverting terminal, it will be 180 degree out of phase. That is important. Okay, it will be opposite polarity. It will be like sine and cos, 180 degree out of phase. It produces a signal. Okay, and so V1 is the voltage at the non-inverting input, V2 is the voltage at the inverting input, and A is the large signal voltage gain. That are the these are the explanation of the symbols we have used. Okay, yeah, V1, V2, A and V. Schematic symbol of the op-amp is done. Next we'll see what are the characteristics of op-amp. Okay, very important to know what are the characteristics of op-amp. See here, op-amp has some ideal characteristics also and some practical characteristics. Okay, ideally we want the op-amp to have different values, but practically when we go with the op-amp, we don't get that values, because see, this op-amp has many transistors inside, and these transistors will have some voltage without giving any input. Okay, when you do practically, you'll understand. See, first one is the input offset voltage. First characteristic is input offset voltage. So what is this? Input offset voltage is the voltage that must be applied between the two input terminals of an op-amp to null the output. See, without giving any input, if you check by using multimeter, by keeping the op-amp without giving any input, if you check on the breadboard, in multimeter, you'll find that there is some millivolts output. Okay, because of this transistors used, some voltage will get at the output. So that voltage, it will be like some 0.3 millivolts or 0.01 milli, very less voltage will get. But this voltage will be added up for whatever the operations will be doing. Okay, whatever addition, subtraction will be added, will be doing now. For that, this offset voltage will be getting added. Okay, that is the error that will be getting. So to remove that, we have to apply some offset voltage at the input. Okay, that is called as input offset voltage. What they tell is the smaller the value of VIO, okay, the better the input terminals are matched. Okay, that concept. Next, what is this input offset current? Okay, these are the characteristics of practical op-amp when we do it in the lab. What is this input offset current? It is the algebraic difference between the currents. into the inverting and non-inverting terminals. So in this inverting and we have two inputs for op-amp, right? Inverting and non-inverting. So the difference between the currents in them is known as input offset current. Okay, current into the non-inverting input is IB1 and current into the inverting input is IB2. So the difference between the two is input offset current. And the typical value for 741 IC it is 200 nanoamps. Next we have input bias current. It is represented as IB. IB is also, it is nothing but IB1 plus IB2 divided by 2. So it takes the same currents here. Whatever the currents we have used, the same here it will be used, and it is called input bias current, and its typical value is 100 nanoamps. Next, practically, the one more important concept which we'll be studying here is common mode rejection ratio, that is CMRR, very important one. CMRR is common mode rejection ratio. So it is defined as the ratio of the differential voltage gain. Important, it is differential voltage gain AD to the common mode gain ACM, that is the symbol. See, this differential voltage gain means here we will be giving two difference voltages at the input terminals. Okay, in common mode we will be giving same voltages, not difference. Same voltage will be giving at the input terminals. When difference voltage will be given, we will take the output. When same input voltages will be given, we have to take the output and take the ratio of that both. Okay, when we take the ratio of that both, we will come to know what is the CMRR, that is the common mode rejection ratio. See, whenever the inverting and non-inverting terminals will amplify the difference between the signal. So if you give the same input, like if I give at the inverting terminal 2 volts and non-inverting also 2 volts, the difference between the two is 0. So the output should be 0. Okay, ideally the output should be 0 so that it can reject the common signals. But practically when we go, there will be some voltage. So it is formula for CMRR is AD by ACM. What is this common mode? ACM is output common mode voltage divided by input common mode voltage. So ACM is small and this gain AD is equal to A is very large. Therefore, CMRR is very large. It is expressed in decibels. Okay, CMRR, and 90 decibels is the typical value. Higher the value of CMRR, okay, that if the op-amp is having very good way of rejecting the common signals, then its ability to reject common mode voltages like electrical noise will be very good. So it should have very good CMRR. CMRR is common mode rejection ratio. Next we have PSRR or SVRR, power supply rejection ratio or supply voltage rejection ratio. Okay, this is also one of the characteristics. It is nothing but the formula is SVRR is nothing but delta VI0 divided by delta V. The change in an op-amp's input offset voltage, that is VIO, caused by variations in supply voltages. See here, this op-amp will always have two supply voltages. One is positive and one is negative. Two supply voltages will be given. So if at all we change the supply voltage, like you think we have giving 12 volts as a supply voltage, and for the next experiment we are going to change, or for the same if we change from 12 to 10 volts, we have to see how well the op-amp is working even when the supply voltage is changed. Okay, that will tell the how well the op-amp is. So this parameter tells about that condition, that is supply voltage rejection ratio. It is nothing but a change in offset voltage divided by change in supply voltage, that is expressed in microvolts per volt. Lower the value of SVRR, better the op-amp performance. Okay, it will have a very good performance. And the gain, always you know the gain depends upon output voltage divided by input voltage. Very important. The gain of the op-amp or gain of any circuit, it depends upon whatever the output you give and its input. So gain is equal to V0 divided by VID. What is this ID? It is the differential input voltage. Since we have two inputs, it will take the difference between the two. So A is V0 divided by VID. Next important characteristic of op-amp is the transient response. Okay, we had seen transient response means the response which is not stable. Okay, I have shown in the graph. It will take some time for the waveform to become stable here. The response to a given input is transient, and both. First it will be transient, then it will be steady state response. So here the time required by the output to go from 10 to 90% of its final value is called rise time. Okay, some definitions we have. What is rise time? Then we have what is overshoot. It is the maximum amount by which the output deviates from the steady state value. And we have slew rate. Here for you the slew rate is very important. Slew rate is defined as the maximum rate of change of output voltage per unit time and is expressed in volts per microsecond. See, whenever we give the input, to how fast the output is generated or how fast the device can produce the output, that will tell the slew rate of that op-amp. See, soon the moment we give the input, we will not get the output because we have some passive devices inside. We have resistors, we have capacitors. So it will take some time for the output to reach the required value. So that time is known as slew rate, and we express the slew rate in volts per microseconds. That is the unit we use. So it is defined as the maximum rate of change of output voltage per unit time and is expressed in volts per microsecond. It indicates how rapidly the output of an op-amp can change in response to changes in the input. How you change the input, for that changes how the output will respond. How fast it will respond, that is important. Okay. Typically the value is 0.5 volts per microsecond. So slew rate is important, very important. So these are the practical characteristics. So we have seen what is input offset voltage, input bias current, input offset current, and slew rate. Okay, four are the practical characteristics. Next we'll see what are the ideal characteristics of an op-amp. The ideal characteristics here, the voltage gain. Okay, whatever we saw now, the gain is equal to output voltage divided by input. So that should be infinite. Okay, the voltage gain should be infinite, and the input resistance also should be infinite. Infinite input resistance Ri. That is, any signal source can drive it and there is no loading of the preceding stage. And the output resistance should be 0. Okay, the output resistance should be 0. That is, output can drive any infinite number of other devices. Okay, these are the ideal characteristics. And next, we should have 0 output voltage when input voltage is 0. When we are not giving any input, the output also should be 0. That is the ideally it should behave like that. Next we have infinite bandwidth. The bandwidth should be it should contain all the frequencies. From 0 frequency to infinite frequencies, it should be able to amplify. Okay, the op-amp. So its bandwidth should be infinite, so that any frequency signal from 0 to infinite hertz can be amplified without attenuation. That is important. Attenuation means it will decrease the signal. It is just opposite of amplification. Okay, amplification will amplify, attenuation will decrease, attenuate. Okay, it will decrease. Next, the CMRR, that is common mode rejection ratio, should be infinite. Infinite CMRR, so that the output common mode noise voltage is 0, and the slew rate also should be infinite, so that the output voltage changes occur simultaneously with the input changes. So maximum parameters all should be infinite. First one is gain. Gain should be infinite. Input resistance should be infinite. These are the ideal characteristics. See here, voltage gain should be infinite, input resistance infinite, then only output resistance and output voltage, they should be 0. Next, infinite bandwidth, infinite CMRR, and infinite slew rate. I'll show the equivalent circuit of an op-amp here. See, this is the equivalent circuit of an op-amp. Here we have two terminals, V1 and V2, inverting input and non-inverting input. Okay, V1 and V2. So it will do the difference, that is VID, differential input voltage. Here this is RI. This is RI, which we told it should have infinite input resistance. Okay, this resistance is there, and we have a output R0, output resistance R0, and the gain is see V0, output voltage V0 is equal to gain A, okay, whatever the gain we have into VID, that is the differential input voltage. And we have two power supply here. You can observe here two power supplies. One is plus VCC and one is minus VEE. Okay, the supply voltages usually in our lab will be taking 12 volts, plus 12 volts and minus 12 volts. You can go with 10 volts also. There are many different supply voltages. In yours, this will be studying op-amp with two supply voltages. There are many op-amps with single supply voltage also. Here CC represents collector to collector and E represents emitter to emitter. Here see inside this, whatever the triangle we have put here, inside this there are many transistors. Okay, nearly 7 to 8 transistors are there. Okay, all that put together an op-amp is formed. So this VCC and VE represents the terminals of that transistors. Okay, so this is the equivalent circuit of op-amp having input resistance, output resistance and supply voltage, and it has two inputs V1 and V2. Okay, and so AVID represents equivalent Thevenin's voltage source and R0 represents Thevenin equivalent resistance. So equivalent circuit is useful in analyzing the basic operating principles of op-amps and in observing the, still we have not gone with feedback. Here important equation for this op-amp is the output voltage is V0. Output voltage V0 depends upon the gain into difference input voltage, that is A into VID. So what is this VID? It is nothing but difference between the input voltage, that is A into V1 minus V2. V1 and V2 are the voltages which we give at the inverting and non-inverting terminals. So A is the large signal voltage gain and V2 is the voltage at inverting terminal with respect to ground, and V1 is the voltage at the non-inverting terminal with respect to ground. So this equation is very important. This op-amp amplifies the difference between the input. So we have seen the equivalent symbol. We have seen the equation. At last we'll see this ideal voltage transfer curve. Okay. So this is the transfer characteristics. See, transfer characteristics means it is what we put the in the axis or in the graph we put how the input and output voltage, how they are related. Okay, what is their relationship? Here we see the input voltage is put across the x-axis and the output voltage we put on the y-axis. In the starting it is linear. Input and output are varying linearly in both positive and negative direction. But after some value it is become saturated here. Okay, it is becoming constant here. This is the transfer characteristics of an op-amp. Okay, this saturation depends upon the supply voltage which we are giving. If you give supply voltage as 12 volts, so below 12 volts only it will amplify. Okay, after 12 volts it will become saturated. That slope is shown here, and this slope represents the gain, capital A. Okay, slope represents the gain of the amplifier. Without any feedback, the gain of the amplifier will be nearly very high, nearly 10 to the power 5 to 10 power 6. Without any feedback. Okay, if you give very small signal as input, it will amplify to very heavily, very huge, the signal will be amplified. So the equation 1 is the basic op-amp equation, which is the equation 1, that is very important. This, that is V0 is equal to A into VID. Okay, is the very important op-amp equation in which the output offset voltage is assumed to be 0. The graphic representation also is shown, in which the output voltage V0 is plotted against input difference voltage, keeping gain A constant. The output voltage is directly proportional to the input difference voltage only until it reaches the saturation. That is important. Okay, when it reaches the saturation, there is no linear relationship between input and output, and the output voltage remains constant. So the curve is ideal, therefore because output offset voltage is assumed to be 0. So this is the transfer characteristics of op-amp. It is an ideal voltage transfer curve, okay, where we represent the graphical representation of the op-amp. Okay, op-amp symbolic representation characteristics are shown. So this is the introduction to op-amp. What is operational amplifier? What is its block diagram? Okay, what is the block diagram and how it works, how the operational amplifier can be used for different applications. It has once again I will tell, it has two inputs, inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal as the two inputs, and it has a very high voltage gain. Okay, and the curve shows that at some point input and output have a linear relationship. After that the output becomes saturated.